Main event time, everyone.
Oh, yeah,
Miro,
baby.
the TNT Championship was on the line in the main event against the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. And, man, this was well-deserved, but honestly unexpected based on Miro's run, man. This match was, to me, dominated by Miro. He seemed to counter most of Sammy's offense most of the time. And then when Sammy did get, after the commercial break, get that offense, it was incredible. I mean, when he dove over that turnbuckle and did that whatever kind of twisting flip was absolutely incredible. I know Sammy, if you watch his vlog, which I do as well, which you should too, Crayfish, QT Marshall is featured on that a lot, and it's hilarious. He farted and by Fuego's face, and then on this last episode, which is pretty great. But the offense at the end, man, he gave it him all, and man, he gave him the go to sleep, the 450 splash, and the works, man. It was incredible, and I just wish we had about 2 more minutes so we can see him celebrate and get all that. Even though we were getting that in the commercial break at Rose at the Top, but I was surprised. Miro's run has been pretty dominant, but this was, going into this match, I knew this would have been his most test, his biggest test so far. Look at who he defended against. No offense to the talent that he did, but it wasn't, the main event talent that Sammy Guevara deserves. Obviously Dante Martin, which we are very high on, Fuego del Sol twice. It wasn't like a true Hugh, Eddie Kingston. I think his run got cut a little short, in my opinion, and I was loving what he was doing.
Yeah.
But if he's going to lose the belt, and to someone, I support that Sammy, man. It was great, man. This stuff
kind of shocking though to see.
Very shocking,
Miro, because I mean, like, it's fair to just say that, right? I mean, like, I have faith, and I think you have faith that like AEW is going to book this and book it in a very smart way. And I think that we all agree that Sammy Guevara as a TNT champion makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But it does feel a little soon for Miro to lose the belt. And maybe this is going to be a pattern of the TNT championship.
Which I would support. More defenses and more changes.
Yeah. Maybe this is, we're getting those really epic, long world championship runs. I mean, you think about the title reigns of Jon Moxley, of Kenny Omega, of Chris Jericho. I mean, those are long world heavyweight championship reigns. Maybe the TNT championship is one that you get a little bit, keeps things fresh, keeps changing the landscape.
Yeah.
And Miro's title reign was a lot of fun, and I think it served its purpose. It established Miro as a dominant force. It allowed Miro a lot of opportunities to show his creative, funny side of him, while also
very funny,
while also pairing that with his brutal, absolutely vicious streak that he has inside the ring. That it showed that the duality of Miro, why he is so charismatic and so easily likable, while also being a guy who wants to rip your face off of your body. He's that kind of guy. So I thought that his TNT championship reign was fantastic. If you would have stretched it out longer, I would have been fine with that. But
sure,
it served its point. It's established. I mean, again, think about how far he's come in a short period of time, SPD, where you were really a little Debbie Downer about where Miro's future was, given what we saw with the Kip stuff and the video game thing. For that to now be such a long, so far in the distant past that Miro is such a different character now. This is going to allow Sammy Guevara the same opportunity. And when you have a guy like Sammy, who is this naturally comfortable on, all his work in the inner circle, this guy's used to being front and center. I think Sammy's going to run with this belt, and it's going to make for a different type of TNT championship match going forward, where Miro was always so dominant. Sammy's fun, fast-paced offense is going to lead to some different matchups that I think you're going to, in particular, I think you as a moves guy, you're going to really love some of the stuff that you're going to see out of Sammy's run.
Yeah, and he said it on his vlog and his promo tonight that he's going to, give it his all or die trying, he really did at that last bit of offense. He gave it all to Miro. Miro won the belt
He
from
kicked Miro
Dark.
right in the nuts in that 620 splash or whatever. My God. All I could think about was poor Miro. He loses his title belt and he loses the ability to please his flexible wife all in the same evening. Poor guy. My
Oh
God.
my
That
gosh.
was brutal.
And
Oh,
so, I mean, I fully support that, 4 to 6 month title run of a TNT championship. And we've wanted a fighting champion like Cody. Like when he set the bar with that was great. The open challenge every single week. I love that. I really wish we get more of that. And so, Miro beat Darby Allin for the championship belt on May 12th of this year. And so, he's getting, losing it just at the end of September. So I think it's good to freshen it up.
yeah.
And, I was looking back or, quickly looking at some of his defenses and I didn't realize some of these, Dante, Lance, Evil Uno, Brian Pillman, Lee Johnson, Fuego, Eddie Kingston, Fuego. And so some may say like it was a good run and some may say it was, a mediocre run. But overall, I think it helped grow his dominance and help grow his character. Excellent for sure. And
SPD with a little bit of a hot take on Miro's championship run. I've only been blinded by his presentation through his promo work and how dominant the Redeemer's been. But you're dropping some names, brother. I mean, I get where you're coming from. It's not like he's slaying some of those top guys. I get it. But I think that, to be fair, again, I think that regardless of who he beat, it established Miro as a top guy in AEW. And
agree.
I think it's curious to wonder what's going to happen with Sammy's run, but I'm really curious to see where Miro goes from here because as the TNT champion, you said it, as the TNT champion, he didn't really have any really defining feud of that run.
Right.
Maybe this last couple of weeks with Fuego and Sammy has been the most really prominent feud of
most multi-week feud, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Of his reign. So, that gave him something to do week after week without really having anything where he's invested in a feud.
Right.
It'll be really interesting to see who he goes toe to toe with next. Is he a guy who you could see challenging Kenny for the world title or being maybe a challenger for the next world heavyweight champion?
True.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Miro. Certainly going to need to have him recover, regroup. But man, is there a lot of stuff going on in the AEW world, in the landscape of AEW. It's curious to see who would be his natural next competitor. I'm at a loss.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's hard to predict. I mean, if you guys think of something in the chat, let us know. But I don't know who his next competitor is because you got to think of. I mean, I've talked about it before of wanting Miro to go against some of the big hosses of, AEW, the Luchasauruses and things like that. People more his size because look, rambling off his title run. There was a lot of people smaller.
Lance was the one
other than Lance
versus Godzilla matchup, right? That was the only one that was really like that. And yeah, I mean, Scoot mentions Brian Cage. Brian Cage, the Machine versus the Redeemer would certainly be an awesome matchup. And we're going to be talking to Brian Cage soon enough. So
breaking news. So Dynamite download very soon. We got some, on the books. Stay tuned for the Machine meets Dynamite download on that.
It'll be a lot of fun to talk to him.
Inside scoop of that.
He's definitely making waves right now on the internet, making a lot of waves. And I think Brian's finally, kind of being comfortable with just telling it like it is and getting stuff off his chest. So it'll be interesting to talk to him about
I don't blame him.
What's going on. And I think people in the chat talking about him as a guy who could be a potential next challenger for Miro, kind of going toe to toe, would be interesting. But I do agree with you. You got a lot of guys like Powerhouse Hobbs. There's a lot of big men in the AEW kind of having that pecking order kind of get established, and where does Miro fall on that would be very interesting. Let's get into who stands out to you, the pecking order of tonight's show. Who's at the top of your show?
I mean, as as we're wrapping things up, I mean, I have to give it to Sammy. I mean, he slayed the giant. Obviously, the opening match, I was absolutely blown away with. Pure wrestling. It was either Jungle Boy or Adam Cole. Adam Cole for me, baby. But just overall story and arc and overcoming, the odds and triumphing and the story and the depth of it. Sammy Guevara. I mean, anyone who beats Miro deserves to be a top performer, no matter what, in my opinion. So definitely, the Spanish God is getting SPD's pick on that one. It would only make sense for you to pick a heel.